welcome to this review and unboxing video for the new Leagues of Votann army set here, aka the squats. So squats have returned, but with a different take, I guess. We'll talk a bit about that in this review video, but it's going to be an unboxing, chance to unbox this set here. Games Workshop has sent it to me through the post to review for the channel. So we'll unbox, take a look at what's inside, give you a good idea. I do like the idea of these boxes. Not only do you get an army inside this of brand new models, but they also give you the codex and the card deck as well. So it's an excellent start here for collecting Leagues of Votann. So for discount 40k, check out channel sponsor, link for them in the video description. 20% discount usually for them from the Outpost. By using that link, it doesn't cost you anything, but when you use that link, it does help support the channel in a small way. You better get a hold of your Leagues of Votann stuff from them, 40k, Age of Sigmar, other gaming systems, all your paints and accessories and so on, shipping across the UK and much of the European Union as well. If your order's large enough, you can get free postage, even to many countries in the EU as well. It just keeps the cost of the hobby down. Box sets like these are generally pretty good value. You know, you're getting a good start with some units, and inside this particular set, and I think they've done it in a couple of others, they're giving you the codex and the cards, so like ready to rumble once you've got the rules, cards and models. So I think that's a good move from Games Workshop, an exciting set. And obviously the return of what was known to me as the squats. They're sort of written out of the lore, but Games Workshop, they have listened to the fans, credit to them for doing that. And they brought back the squats in the form of the Leagues of Votann. It's basically dwarves in 40k, is basically what they are. So Games Workshop send me these sets, but I'm not bound to go by any of their script. I'll give you my own thoughts and feedback, my honest opinion of what they've done here with the squats. I'll call them the squats here, because that's back when I was playing 40k at sort of age 14, squats were around. Not so much for 40k, but in Epic they featured a fair bit. I used to really enjoy reading the battle reports of the squats in there. I love the artwork, love the concept of them. And squats, or dwarves, their classic enemies were the orcs especially, and so those games were particularly good. Tyranids, a lot of the Xenos type armies, the squats were one of those sort of tougher imperial factions that could take them on, known for their sort of bombard artillery type equipment and for their durability despite their size. That was the kind of theme running with those. Games Workshop, as per usual, the factions just sort of update and revamp them to a degree, but they've done that here with the Leagues of Votann, but shifted in a direction that, to be honest, and it'd be great to hear people's comments on this, especially if you have followed the old squats back in the lore, back in the day, if you're one of those players that's been around for a while. Then I'd love to hear your opinion about this, what Games Workshop have done with the Leagues of Votann. Is it good or not? I'd love to hear what people are thinking on this subject. I'll give my opinion, but it'd be great to hear what others are thinking at the same time. So I got some positive and negatives going on. The positive side of stuff I'll talk about first. So the idea of doing this box set is 100% brilliant idea from Games Workshop, so credit to them for doing it. Artwork, as per usual, excellent. I know the quality inside is going to be fantastic. The idea that they put the codex and the cards inside the box set, just a brilliant set to start collecting. It's not huge, it's not the thickest, as the Necromunda set previously reviewed is bigger, but the weight of it is here, and pretty good on units. You've got two good sized infantry units, these hover bikes, anti-grav bikes, things going on here, and a couple of HQ choices. Sculpting of the models, fantastic. The models look absolutely brilliant. I think I like all of the units, just the way they've turned out. But having said all of that, and I'm fascinated to know if anyone else feels the same, they just don't feel like squats, and for me that's a shame, because I was hoping for like the return of the squats, but it just doesn't feel like this. Feels like I don't know. And I can't see how that can, because of the resculpt here, it's very sort of, you see some of the larger models, the new vehicle that's come out as well, it's kind of a very lunar style going on, as opposed to the squats. Maybe I can illustrate by showing some of the it's hard to, because I can't bring out a codex or a rulebook and show you because they've sort of been eliminated from the law. You need some older stuff, but I'll see what I can do just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. So I just brought my mobile out here just to show you. There's actually a good article from the Warhammer community website here, tracking the history. So if you're perhaps newer to 40k and you're not sure about the squats or what I'm talking about, then check out this article because it'll take you right back to the start. And then talks about the early days here, so when they first came out here, look almost like rattlings in the first sculpt that was seen. Then, as I've mentioned, you'll see them here featuring in the Epic games. It's like a land train type thing there, so a lot of bombard type artillery. This is what this is how I knew the squats here. Buggies and bikes, loads of guns really. There's the infantry just there. Crazy, ridiculous artillery. And then there's even like a squat blimp thing with the dwarvish runes on it. And then, as I said, look, that's the classic foe fighting against the orcs. Like so. I guess the orc style has changed. Those Gorkanauts. Could be wrong on that one. There's Bonebreaker type battle wagons as well. So yeah, stuff's got updated now. It then takes you forwards here, talks about how they died out, they were mentioned in the lore. This is the classic style that I remember for the squats here. So talks about the quiet years, clues, the gradual introduction of them. Then we started to get this stuff coming through for Necromunda. And I'm going to refer back to this in just a moment, and there's another one of them there, two models. I mean, that was a huge clue that something was coming. Games Workshop, surely you couldn't just sculpt two and then leave it at that, so that was a pretty good clue what's coming. Now this is what we're up to here. So, my opinion is that this is it's a departure away from even that new stuff there for Necromunda, but the classic squats here, it's a fair bit of a move away from those. So, just my own opinion, I think that's a shame. I would love to have seen an updated version of these, but I get it, Games Workshop sort of modernising the factions. They've done it with like Primaris Marines and so on. But the change is quite significant, and so I think that's a shame, because I wouldn't really see these as squats. I'd have to go with like Leagues of Votann. So this is an article here talking about the squats coming back and so on and so forth, looking back at the lore, and then they talk about these newer models that Games Workshop came along with, and then they talk about what options in the meantime, whilst you're waiting for squats to return, what other companies are doing, equivalents that can be used. So look at these. So these are from a company called Hardcore Miniatures, and really this is what I was expecting to get with the squats. So you've got, from the artwork that we saw earlier on, you've got the classic padded jackets here with that diagonal quilting taking place. They've kept the style of the helmet with the sort of earmuff style rounded helmet for those, just sort of the classic style stuff that you'd expect for the squats. As it's sort of it's modernised still though. You've got things like these boots have been modernised, looking bring them up to date and so on. So there is a nice sort of modern finish. The weapons have been vastly improved as well. But that's, I mean, I look at those, I go, oh, they're squats, straight away. And these backpacks look particularly good as well. So the little backpacks across here look excellent. They've got that nice kind of stocky, thick armed kind of look to them, very dwarvish looking. The beards and the styles to them, exactly the way it should be here with different designs. They look completely like space dwarves, and so I think this is for squats, this is classic sort of squats here, but brought up to a modern standard. But these look particularly good. I think they're very good indeed. But having said all that, that's for squat fans from what they knew in the past. No doubt there are going to be a new crowd coming along that just know the Leagues of Votann, and for them, it'd be a great faction and so on. So, but just pointing it out for you, just to give you an idea of what perhaps could have been done by Games Workshop to stay a bit more loyal to the original concept for the squads. So I hope it's made sense what I was talking about. Again, love to hear what people's feedback is, but for me, squats are, as in my mind, and you've been waiting for years and years for the squats to return, and then you see the Leagues of Votann and you think, well, that's not them, it's sort of it's okay. But the quality of the sculpts and like the concept of them is fine. The sculpt The design work is all good. They're excellently done. The models are fantastic. So it's not an issue with the quality or the sculpts that Games Workshop have done. But I think it's like a pretty heavy departure away from the original concept of squats, and therefore that's sort of the issue that I've brought up here in this video. But just to bring it up at this point, we'll take a look at the contents though of this box. So the sleeve comes off and then you get this inside, which is a brilliant piece of artwork. Yeah, well look at this here. I'm getting more and more puzzled by all of this. If I zoom, I wonder if I can, we'll zoom in here, like so. This guy's got a quilted jacket on. So what is going on? I'd like to know. I don't know what's going on here. The artwork's got the classic quilted jacket. You got the classic helmet. Remember we saw it with sort of the earmuff style going on with the rounded helmet. Well, that's on him. And this guy in the background's got it too. Which is different to the Votann style guys here. Could there be a lighter infantry type unit coming out, which could be more of a reflection of the older ones? If so, that would be especially a good move from Games Workshop. The knee pad, shoulder pad stuff, I really like that idea going on here. But even the red going on with this, and the colour scheme of this piece of artwork reflective of the older artwork for the squats. The codex is going to be fascinating to see what kind of artwork Games Workshop are using inside that as well. So it is intriguing, the whole thing, for sure. And as I've said, don't mind the new concept. You know, the design works fantastic. Look at this guy here with the fully kitted out with all the armour. They do look excellent. Fighting against Tyranids. The other thing that's missing is the facial hair, the beards, and the big moustaches, especially. That's sort of classic dwarf style. That's been seriously cut down. And that was one of the most iconic parts here for the squats. So, bit of a different review, there's a bit of a discussion going on with this. So with the models here, again, I'll just zoom in so you can see. I think that's focused pretty good. So if you look across the board here, facial hair pretty minimal on these. There's not much room for the big, now there is some, like the squad leader here, yes, moustache and beard and so on. There's a few others have it, but it is very limited compared to the usual sculpts for Games Workshop for dwarves, you know, the big kind of hairstyles and so on. I wish that was more evident, because that's a very sort of iconic dwarf kind of style with their hairdos. So Games Workshop did boast about saying, you know, we want to see the facial hair faction coming back, even in the article I showed you earlier on. But it's not too evident here, which I think is a shame, because again, it's one of the iconic parts that made up the squats previously. But anyway, I'm expressing these opinions. It'd be great to hear if anybody shares the same view. So I don't want to create a view where it's like, oh, everything's amazing, it's all good, blah blah blah. You know, rather create something for people to think about. So this is upside down, actually. Let's go this way. So on the other side, all this runic stuff going on here. It's a very sort of industrial, modern, Japanesey sort of runic stuff for the dwarves. So maybe it's like, surely the idea is that the squats have been away for a good while. They've been out there in the galaxy, and obviously technology's moved on. They've moved on as a culture and modernised, which you'd expect any culture to do. So I think that's the idea that Games Workshop have done. But still, having said that, I still would have liked to have seen something true to the originals. Fantastic piece of artwork here. Really, really nice. Great colour theme going on. There are some guys with big beards, so not so bad. And again, still like the whole concept. The concept's fine, the design work fantastic, so it's not an issue with that at all. There's a hovering thing over here. Whether that's something to be seen, a flyer. might get a later release on. As you open up the tray, just discard that cardboard. So inside is all of your kits. We'll zoom in and take a look at the sprues in just a moment. A couple of the HQ sprues. Now, it's more observations I've made, not grumbling, because these models no doubt will be fantastic, and I'm sure they'll look brilliant on the table. So it's not so much a grumble, but more of a lament to the past. As expected, piece of artwork here. I think this is one of the earlier pieces that was seen. Very good, yeah. And the longer cloaks dropping down with the runic stuff. That's more interesting. That's more squat sort of style. And the height. It'd be fascinating to see the height of these models as well. Might be able to line up a little size comparison for you to give you an idea. This is the Hovery technology. The other thing is, I guess, with the return of the squats, the reintroduction of them and the explanation of that will make fascinating reading the book as well. So it will be very interesting to read. Then inside here, they give you like a container thing to hold everything in place. That's the basis for all of the models. Then your cards. Give them some nice runes down the side, like so. So, excellent job. And then your codex. Ah, right, I was wondering where the larger bases were. So inside here, there's your the hover bike bases, 3 of those. And they've also given you 2 transfer sheets. Right. And the great thing is, with a new release, Games Workshop giving you a very detailed and comprehensive transfer sheet here. So, very impressive stuff. Loads of numbers you can use, different things, unique markings, and then the different sub factions for them, like so. So 2 lots of those. So nice and generous on the transfers. Excellent job as per usual with them. And then with the book, we'll crack this open. Concept art on the front. Fantastic. Looks fantastic. Love the colours, the colour spread they've used across here, and then a nice spot, a nice feature colour of this flaming orange. Brilliant job for the power sword, just a bit something different compared to what other factions are doing. So this all looks very good indeed. Nice codex set, very exciting. So just having a look, it feels a bit different to the normal. There's a different sort of feel going on with this one. Slightly different, I think, than the official independent codex. Like, it doesn't have the 40k across the front, it's more of a just leave more space for the artwork. But this is the same running across here. And then that's the back that you get compared to something like that for the Tau Codex, just to give you an idea. But book size is the same on that one. The ancestors are watching. And what else does it say? This idiom is both a reminder that kin must always live up to their ancestors' expectations, and also a resonance that the ancestors live on in the families of the kin. It can be a battle cry, a warning, or a blessing. Right, so for this, I'm going to review it as a separate review video. I think it has to be done that way. So it'll be a flick through the entire book. We'll get into the rules, the unit profiles, what they can do, how they play. Everything will be in this video. So you can check that out. Separate video should come out at the same time as you see this review. So check that out if you want to see all the full lowdown on the rules there for the Leagues of Votann. You get counters. Here, a sheet of those. Interesting. And then the usual detailed logical layout for building the models, like so. So full instructions on how to do it. That's how to build the bikers at the back. Just there. Yeah, they are excellent models. We'll zoom in now and we'll take a look at these sprues. Alright, so this is the larger sprue, the double sprue here, I think, for the half-kin warriors. So, yeah, nice, short, stubby, but powerful looking shooting weapons. They're heavily armoured enough. We'll check it, we'll see what the rules say for them. A 4 up save, 3 up save, perhaps for them. Toughness 4, surely. I'm just guessing here until I take a look at the book. And then there's the the heads that are available. So plenty of head options, but the usual sprue here from Games Workshop, you get sort of quite, it's not totally fixed, you can play around with them a fair bit. The heads and torsos, or the torsos like legs, waist and so on, quite fixed in place, but there's a little bit of play around that you can do with the posing on them, the arm options, and plenty of head options, lots of accessories as well, sort of the standard style of doing kits now for 40k. So brilliant for sure. I wonder if I can get some kind of size comparison. Yeah, I don't know, they don't look much shorter than a guardsman. So I've got a few models here just to try and help. So let's take this model here. You see him? Foot and head. Sort of standard kind of pose. So that's our kind of height reference. So I'll bring in a Primaris Space Marine. Looking like that. So yeah, he's head and shoulders above. I'll take a First Spawn Marine here from the Space Wolves. And he's head and a bit above, but not by too much. So they're a bit shorter, so I don't know. They're going to be shorter by a little bit, but not by too much. They are big enough. I would have made them perhaps a little bit shorter, but not too bad. They're alright. You do want them to be a good size, but I think, as we talk about the original squats earlier on, they would have been a fair bit smaller. Just bringing up some of the other sprues here. This is one of the HQ choices. Brilliant work on the base. Very nice. Great detail across here. Some of the heads. But sensible on the hairstyles and facial hair for these. I think Games Workshop could have gone a bit more overboard. It's such an iconic part of them. For the squats, so nice runic decorations as well on this one. Just flip it over. So that's that one. And there's the other HQ choice, again with some nice base work here, which is excellent. Really does set the model nicely. Really nice job. Quality of the sculpt, so 10 out of 10. The detail is utterly fantastic. Look at the intricate detail here on these things dangling down here. Just very fine detailed work. Very high quality. Nice. Then there's another one of the Halfkin Warrior Sprues, the heavy weapon. Across there. The enclosed helmets look good, so that you can't see the face, they do look good. So I think we're looking at Halfkin again. And there's another one of the heavy weapons potentially they can carry. And then onto the bikers. The Pioneers. So that's the sprue for them. I think these have been quite bulky models. And I do love the concept of the RX, and there's the jacket there for one of the pilots. Nice. I guess that's one whole model just on that sprue. You're going to get a double sprue here with everything else. For the other two, it's a squad of 3. Just giving you an idea of what you get with those. This is nice touch here. Look, some baggage here, like dwarf pickaxe style stuff. This is all very good. Yeah. So brilliant work. Nice long single-handed shotgun type thing going on here. Yeah, imagine those bikers would be pretty good. It would be great to see the rules for those. So that pretty much is the review here. It's been a review and a bit of a discussion video as well, but I really wanted to talk about those aspects mentioned earlier on. So faction wise, if there was no such thing as the squats and Games Workshop just came out with this as a brand new faction, I'm sure it'd go down really well, but I find it fascinating that there's been this gap for so long, and there has been a fan base that's longed for the return of the squats, but in my mind, I'm sure other people's minds, it's the squats that we remember from the artwork and from previous editions. But now the Leagues of Votann, in my opinion, is like a departure away from that a fair bit, perhaps a bit too much. But it'd be great to see what other people have to say about that. It's all very interesting for sure. But the actual product itself is a brilliant idea. We're giving you a decent number of units, some great HQ choices. Inside that box is the codex and the cards. It's a brilliant start, a great kick-off to your collection if you're going to get into these. Perhaps you are playing Imperial armies, maybe a little bit bored of Space Marines. Astra Militarum, it's just Cadians really like fully fleshed out, and so you're looking for something Imperial. Admech maybe, but now you've got an option here for the Leagues of Votann. So, you know, the Imperial side of things, the 40k is very strong, very popular, but now there is an extra option now to go for the Leagues of Votann. And quality-wise, product-wise, this is absolutely fantastic. Games Workshop really have done a good job. So that's the review. Do check out the channel sponsor. I'm sure you can make pre-orders with them at the Outpost for discount 40k. It means you can get a hold of this box, but at a discounted rate. If you're in the UK, you can go for that. If you're in Europe, so a lot of countries out there, they can post to them. And even if you're in the EU, if your order's large enough for most of those countries, you can get free postage as well, and duties paid and so on. So it's a great way to get a hold of your 40k stuff at a discounted rate. But as per usual, leave your comments. Be fascinating to hear what other people have to say on this subject, but the squats have returned in the form of the Leagues of Votann. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time.